Alright guys, we're going to record a new Mathews Lift video with the Lift X. I'm going to be shooting all of these bows left-handed. Just kidding! None of them are left-handed. Mathews, Hoyt, Elite, Bowtech, PSE. I don't care. Start releasing left-handed bows day one. Please. Cade's gonna take over from here on. Thank you.
Mathews dropped their 2025 bow lineups, and I'm really excited about it. They got a few changes, some big news. Some of the stuff was the same as last year, so we're gonna dive into that right now. First and foremost, obviously, Lift X. Same name as last year with an X next to it, so that makes it better. That's all you need to know. Starting off, they got, this is their Lift X 33, and this is their 29.5. My build this year, I want to do more of like this color, maybe a black. Haven't quite decided yet, but we're gonna shoot them today. So this year, what's the same and what's different on the bow itself? Well, first and foremost, the riser is the same. The cams, they're the same. The cam mods are the same, which is nice. However, the limbs are different, the new version of the limbs. And secondly, I'm actually really excited about it. Right here, they got their patented limb shift system. So what happens is you're basically gonna take an Allen key, you're gonna pull this guy out, and then you stick another Allen key in there, and you can actually shift their whole limb system to tune your bow without a bow press. We saw Elite, they actually transitioned into they gave us a way to tune your bow without a bow press. We know Bowtech has their deadlock system, or excuse me, their cam lock system, and I really like it. I don't like having to use a bow press. So, you know, stuff happens, your bow gets bumped, you're out in the field, you're screwed. Well, here's your solution. You can fix it if you need to, if something gets bumped. This year, Mathews added their Bond grip system, as you can see. Now, when you open this guy up, we do have a couple of these guys over on some other bows. They've got a couple different versions. There's the Contour, which is actually my favorite so far. Granted, I've shot like 3 times and held them, but the Contour has a little bit of a mold where you can kind of feel your hand a little bit better. The taper here is got more aggressive angle when it's on the bow, and the Engage, I'm not gonna lie to you, it feels about the same. I realistically can't tell a huge difference between the Engage and the grip that we've had forever. So all these, the nice thing is if you're shooting a V3X, a Phase 4, or a regular lift, you still can put these on those as well. I believe it goes back to the V3X. I could be wrong, but they do go back to some of the other versions of the bows, which is nice. You obviously want, they're keeping everything a little bit uniform in that sense, which is always appreciated. One of the last big things that Mathews did, I'm actually really excited for. It's probably my favorite part of this entire thing, the sight. Mathews partnered with Ultraview. Everybody knows and loves the Ultraview slider, the UV slider. I've shot it for a long time. Connor's had the opportunity to shoot it. He's got one on his bow right now. There's a lot of pros to it. And in my opinion and in my experience, there's not that many cons. Well, they upgraded it. So this sight is gonna be $700. Now it is a steep price point. However, all of the stuff like the original UV slider is modular. You know, I mean, you can pull out your housing, put in a regular vis ring, for states that allow that. Then it comes with, boom, you can see right there, 5 pins, which there's some pros and cons to. Everybody's got a different opinion. My opinion, I actually prefer the 3 pins. It does have an option for a 3-pin vertical or a 3-pin horizontal. I prefer the 3-pin horizontal, but I honestly can't give you a great reason for that, just my preference. But if you have a different preference, they've got you covered. So one of the biggest things is changing on the sight is it's a lot smoother, a lot quicker to roll up and down. You don't need to spin the dial as much for it to drop or to raise. So that's really nice. It seems a little bit easier to use. And my biggest complaint with the original UV slider was your windage here. You pulled it out on the original and it was a little bit mushy. This one you can hear it. Super big clicks. Really hard to screw that up. Same thing, pop it closed and your windage is locked in. On top here, this sight is actually USB-C rechargeable, which personally I love that. Makes it super, super, super nice. Tap that button right on top, turns it on. Tap the button again and it turns it back off. So it's a lot of fun to mess with, a lot of fun to play with, and I'm really excited to see where it goes from here. Mathews, as we all know, had a really big year last year. It was really, really popular with what they were doing. Basically, in my experience, by a landslide, Mathews was the most popular. But now, Mathews Lift X comes in a couple different variables here. One is this guy, Mathews Lift X 29.5 axle to axle. I feel like they've really hit a good spot. They like the 29.5. It's a solid spot. There's a lot of, they've sort of perfected it, you know. It hits the area that I need it to cover for a short axle draw bow. And they're leaving it at that, you know. Why fix what ain't broke? Then there's the bigger draw. Now, one of the first things that you might notice, these cams are gargantuan. They're like the size of my head. Now, this is the Lift XD. Now, this is a longer draw. This goes to 33 inches draw length. The riser's the same. The limbs are the same. The only difference here is the cams. So they actually, the weight, they added a little bit because the cams are bigger. But this bow, in and of itself, is the same thing as the Lift 33. But this time, rather than adding 4 inches to your riser, a bunch of weight, they did the long draw guys a favor and they just gave it bigger cams. So you can still get a realistic sized bow and not crazy big and be able to touch the longer axle, or excuse me, the longer draw lengths. I think it's a huge win for the guys that are taller, guys that got crazy long arms. I shoot a 31.5 inch draw. So usually I can get away with the smaller bow, but sometimes it's nice. You don't necessarily want to max out your bow, but that's this Mathews XD. We just talked about guys that are really tall. Let's talk about guys that might not be, or women. We love women in the archery community. Definitely huge, definitely much appreciated. Definitely, I feel like underappreciated by the community sometimes, especially bow manufacturers. So this is the Lift RS for really short, maybe? I don't know. But Lift RS comes with all the same features, very similar shape and feel. However, this one is really short. This is a, remind me.
Should be a 27.5.
27.75 inches axle to axle. This thing is tiny. It's very, very small, but women can shoot it. It goes up to 70 pounds. It's still a really nice bow for what you're getting. You can still put the new grips on it. You can still bridge lock everything, the new limb shift technology, but just shorter. So I like that. I'm happy with that. Now, I'm not going to be shooting this, but still, it's good to see. It makes me happy. Well, guys, the biggest thing, obviously, is how does it shoot? This bow has some good specs. It looks really pretty, very handsome, but how does it shoot? Unfortunately today, we're not gonna be able to really put the sight to the test. However, in the event that we end up rocking with a Mathews at a later date, we will get this. If we do a Mathews right now, it's only bridge lock for that sight. So we'll come back to that. But we can shoot the bow. And how does it shoot? So right now it is set to 31-inch draw. That is a 33-inch axle to axle, and it is at 75 pounds. I usually shoot 70, but on this bow I actually really like 75. So first we're just gonna go over overall comfort, how does she feel, and then we can jump into maybe testing the weight to see how accurate is it really, 75 pounds cams. So let's see how she feels. Well, I'll tell you guys, I really like this contour grip. It's gotta be my favorite out of the three that they've got. I'm a huge fan. I like it, just seems to fit my hand a little bit better. I've got really big hands. This one seems to be a smidge wider, and it seems to just relax a little bit. When you hit your back wall and your hand relaxes, it seems to, the bow, it seems to hold a little bit better at full draw. But, I don't know. I like it, I dig it. I want to put another shot into here and see where we're, just see again, see what we're doing, see where we're at. Punch that one a little bit, so not my favorite, but it's 2 in the foam. In here, you can't miss unless you're really bad, but okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I really do like this. However, I don't feel like the overall draw is all that different from last year's lift, which, why would it be? I mean, it's the same cams, same cam mods, really the same setup, but it feels really similar to last year. But I'll tell you, and this is irrelevant to the new bow, I do actually really like the 75-pound draw weight. It feels really nice. Let's shoot it one more time just to solidify our opinions. Feels nice. I like it a lot. But I'll tell you, I really wish you guys that we could test, give a little bit more, have a little bit more fun with this sight. I currently love my UV slider, and this is basically, I know it's the UV slider Mathews edition, but it's basically the UV slider 2. Maybe they're coming out with something else, but I don't know. I've enjoyed it a lot. I'm really excited to tinker with that and mess with it and really play with the pros and cons of it. But last thing I'm going to do right here, we got this fun little tool. We're going to turn it on. I can't tell you how many times I've not turned it on. Okay, 0, make sure you calibrator. Like I said, this is 75-pound cam mods. Make sure you put an arrow in here. Just in case something does happen, the bow doesn't blow up. And because this is the only one they have right now, they would be very disappointed in me. So, let's draw it. $73.8, 12.4 pounds let off. So it's holding a little light.
I would do it again.
I'm gonna do it again, just to double check. I did that one really hard. 74.8, 14.0 pounds let off. I let that one off a little bit scary, but that's okay. So that's kind of, that's really all there is to it on this guy. It definitely feels just, I mean, we've done some other bows. We've looked at a bunch of other bows with you guys in the past. And this one seems to have the premium feeling to it. I mean, everything about it is just nice. I love bridge lock. I am really a fan of this limb shift system. I think it's very innovative, very just a little bit out there, a little bit better than needing a bow press. We have a bow press, but you don't necessarily have a bow press in the field. So being able to get around some of that stuff is really nice. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm actually a huge fan of this. Full transparency, I'm a little bit more excited for the sight than I am the bow. But credit where credit's due. We showed up to do the Hoyt video last week and they didn't have enough for us to do a video on it. That's a huge bummer. So now Mathews did. So this video is going to come out first. But one of the things we'd like to do coming soon is a Hoyt RX9 build versus a Mathews Lift X build. Compare them, hold them side to side, fully loaded, all the bells and whistles, and see really which one I'm gonna run this year. I don't know, I got some opinions. I'm really excited about both bows. I like both brands, but I don't know, we'll see. But until then, it'll just be a mystery. All right, guys. Well, this was actually a lot of fun to come and see these new bows, touch them, feel them, shoot them. I'm happy with them. I like Mathews. I know there's some Mathews haters out there. I'm not biased one way or another. I like being able to shoot everything, you know, put my hands on everything and feel everything. And I think there's some really great bows out there. There's some huge pros and cons with whatever you go with, but ultimately shoot whatever's the most comfortable. So that's gonna do it for this video, the Lift X. And it's, you know, brothers and sisters that are sort of the same thing with different attachments or different lengths. But let us know down in the comments, what do you guys think? Is it worth upgrading from the Lift to the Lift X? We're gonna do a video at some point here in the near future of the Lift versus the Lift X. Pros, cons, really break it down from there. But until then, that'll do it for this video, guys. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts down in the comments. But we'll see you next time.